that sells alcohol within that district, and then carrying an open container from place to place throughout that district. It's in Ohio, it would be a DORA, but it's an EDC in the state of Kentucky. So very simply, that's really all we're looking at doing. And this has actually been run in the paper. The state of Kentucky also has looked for public comment. They have yet to receive any. I have yet to receive any as the ADC administrator. So if there is no comment from the crowd, I can say that we can go ahead and close this hearing.
All right, the hearing is closed, and I will start the council meeting. Roll call.
Ms. Kelly? Here. Mr. Henry?
Here.
Mr. Bowman?
Here.
Mr. Beazle?
Here.
Mr. Blau?
Here.
Mrs. Brooks? Here.
Pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll entertain a motion for the minutes of the last meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We are at visitors communications. If anybody would like to address council on any issue, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Sarah Fire. I live at 185 Ridgeway Avenue, and I just wanted to come tonight and commend our police department, fire department, and paramedics for their handling of the bomb threat at the high school last week. I think it's easy to take for granted that we live in the safest city in Kentucky and what that actually affords us. Excellence in our schools and safety in the community are probably the top two reasons that people move to Fort Thomas. So I just wanted to say to our police department especially, thank you very much. And you have our deepest gratitude. And to follow up on that, I know the school has sent out some communication that they have reviewed their emergency management plan. And I just wanted to get just some notes from you if you all review that. We're good.
We are good.
We're good.
As soon as we can release more information, we will. The investigation's on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was very nice of you to come to council and share that. I really appreciate that. That's great. Anybody else? Okay. We can go right along that. Reports of officers. Fire department.
Here's the chief, and is not here. I did read the report, and if anybody has any questions, since I sit about 15 feet away from him now, I may be able to answer them. So,
All right. Any questions about the fire report? I didn't see what you were sorry. Chief. Okay. All right. We do have a police department. What do we do? Oh, I'm sorry. Move to receive. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Police department.
Nothing further to report. Just like
Any questions, police department? All right, motion. Move to receive. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving right along. City administrator's report.
I will make a brew.
All in favor? Moving right along.
Just to update a few items. And the first item I wanted to report on is our planning commission initiated the review of our zoning ordinance. I think I referenced that at our last meeting. So they conducted a first meeting with our consultant, CT. Alyssa provided them with kind of an overview of the process, how it will proceed, the topic areas that are likely to need to be addressed, and a timeline of how we might approach that. As you know, the zoning ordinance is updated periodically. Since we did our community comprehensive plan update and the time since we've done any update to that, it's certainly time to take a closer look at that. A lot of items came out of the community plan process that steered us toward the zoning ordinance for possibility of changes in text. They had an initial meeting, and there was also some text amendment language that dealt with the form-based codes as an opportunity to address items within our central business district, undertaking a different type of an approach. Again, this came out of the community plan. before moving forward with any type of potential changes, what they are hoping to do is kind of repeat that meeting a little bit to the public, invite the public, so we'll be advertising their next meeting as an opportunity for the community to come to have input into the process of the updated zoning ordinance, to talk specifically about that topic, because it's a pretty big departure from the way that we've done our zoning in the past. Without getting into the weeds too far in it, our zoning text, not unlike most in Northern Kentucky communities, were based off the model codes that were developed by the Northern Kentucky Area Planning Commission back in the 60s. There's obviously been variations from that. There's been other efforts for more model types of codes subsequent to that, particularly in Kenton County. So the remnant of that effort is more prevalent in the communities in Kenton County still. We don't have that overarching Kenton County Planning Commission as they do in Boone County and Kenton County. But it's probably a good opportunity for us to look and explore some of the different types of methods that are more common. So the public's invited. They're going to conduct a public meeting, basically to talk about the process at their regularly scheduled meeting on October 20th. Thank you. October 20th, the third Wednesday, is a regular meeting. It'll take place right here. So if anybody's asking, that's the process. That's what we're doing. And you'll find it riveting and interesting, I'm sure. So I invite everyone to be there.
You know what time that meeting starts?
Their meeting starts at 6:30.
6:30? Yeah. Okay.
Rob, should we be educating ourselves on form-based code in general, since it's likely to be coming before us?
I think the form-based codes, part of the discussion was form-based codes is much easier to apply in your business areas. In your residential areas, it's a little more difficult because you basically have to do an inventory of everything that you have in order to set your baseline. And that's pretty costly, and most of our community is developed as far as the residential development. So going back and retrofitting some form-based code, that isn't as easy as in your business district areas. So probably not a total form-based code, but certainly the concept of it is worth, spending some effort on, because it is different. So it's a completely different approach to zoning than what we've seen before. And yes, council will end up with this. In the end product, the planning commission will make a recommendation for the zoning text to the full council, and then we'll vote on acceptance of that. So,
But the cast and intelligence vote should probably, I don't know if you have links to.
yeah, we could certainly copy council into all of the information that's being forwarded, so that you at least see it, you have an opportunity to read through it. You have an opportunity to come to the meetings and interact. That would be great. The other boards and commissions that are serving the city, sign review board, board of adjustment, for example, tree commission, are all invited to be a part of that process as well, because some of the content affects how they operate their boards. So that's our process on the zoning ordinance. So stay tuned for that. Literally, it will be ongoing. A couple of other updates: the Howard Park playground equipment. I made a great announcement that they were going to be here today, but they're coming tomorrow. So they literally sent back after I had written this on Friday. So they're scheduled to bring equipment in here starting tomorrow. So that's exciting. They'll be here bringing the equipment anyway. So it's the playground equipment back on the ball field and over at the field. So we'll see them working here soon. The city building update, I think I mentioned, we set a time for council to come for our next meeting in October. If you want to meet out in front of the building, we'll give you a tour through the building itself. Kind of exciting to see it. You can see all the spaces taking shape at this point. The addition on the back is not done, but you put the steel structures up so you can see and feel the size and the addition and how it relates to the rest of the building. And the grading in the back is nearing completion. It'll be done by then. So you'll see the new grade and the perimeter of the building will be pretty much established. So kind of a good stop point for council to come and meet that. So, the street program, we are the 2020 program is still need to do inspection. I think at this point, rather than do 2 inspections, we'll wait until the water works is done. It is scheduled to be done in October, and so we'll schedule that with the 2020 program and do that inspection all one time in November, which is pretty much our normal time frame. So it won't delay anything on our end. The 2021 program, as I just mentioned, Waterworks Road is scheduled. We're waiting for some work to be done by SB1 on the top part of the street. They're now working with Asphalt. We've had our contract to perform some of that work, so it's really just scheduled with them. And then we'll be proceeding with that job moving forward. He also got the contract for the storm sewer adjustments in Newport, other caveat projects in the street outside of Fort Thomas. So,
Can I ask you about Wilbur's, is there some kind of a delay on Wilbur's now for that to happen?
good to have you. I was going to talk about Wilbur's
Awesome.
now. Wilbur's Lane is, I think I've reported in the past, Wilbur's Lane, they are putting a new gas main in, and they are putting, thank you for the, I feel like I'm yelling at you all. But the services have to be taken across the street, because everything is too shallow with that utility for undercutting and putting drainage underneath the new street. It was the intention to move forward this year. However, they are not on schedule. So we're meeting with the contractor now to see whether it's more prudent to just delay the street reconstruction until the spring. We haven't made a final decision on that. It's going to depend on their scheduling and whether Duke can actually get out of the way with the completion of their part of the project. So we haven't made that call yet, but it does appear to be headed that way. The worst case scenario would be to start that street because it's a reconstruction and not have the weather to complete it. So it's pretty much a call at some point here in the next week or so whether we move forward this year. And we would communicate that to the residents if that decision is made. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just sold a house on Wilbur's and I made some, alluded to some time frames that weren't,
Yeah, sorry about that. Where we are.
Yeah, but you had your realtor hat on, man.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
The only other thing I would mention, I received a copy of an article that we had. This is a publication called Best Find Homes, and there's an article in this edition of it that is specific to Fort Thomas. It's a really good article. This is a realtor-based publication, and it really highlights kind of upscale communities and what they're doing in their communities. So it's a really nice article about Fort Thomas. So I thought it was worth mentioning and worth you all viewing it. So it's always nice to be recognized in a positive way, and they certainly did that for us. A lot of great photographs and commentary on our community.
Should we upload this to the website?
Yeah.
Where's this on? Is this local?
Yeah, it's a great Cincinnati publication. Yeah. And I'll pass the magazine around so you can see it with everything else that's on.
Did we run out of money? We couldn't buy them?
I didn't have anything else to report, unless anybody has any questions.
I have a question about the city building updates. I know that we had mentioned last time that the police department there has been through some trials and tribulations, and I was just wondering if that's gotten solved or.
Yes. The issues that I think I reported on before had to do with the fact that we had some infiltration of water in the lower level that affected the floor coverings. And we intended to replace those floor coverings at the end of the project, but it accelerated that schedule a little bit. So the flooring contractor that is completing the fire department presently will be contracted to do work in the police department. So that should occur in the next couple of weeks, where they'll get started in there. And again, we had intentions of doing this, but it'll all be painted in the lower level before they put the flooring down. So those two issues are being completed there. And then the air conditioning unit went out, and so the unit was scheduled to be replaced. We added that in at the beginning of the project, so the unit was ordered, and it has now been placed, and there is air conditioning in the police department side of the building.
That was nice.
And we've had a little bit of weather to still do that. It is only running one phase, but it better than nothing. And the reason it's only running one phase is because we don't have a permanent connection with our electric yet, so everything's running on temporary. So it can't draw that much yet, but it does run the weekend.
So don't pull out that orange extension.
It's not that bad,
The
but
power strip should stay on. Got it,
Yes.
okay.
we are running off a temporary service, so our volume is tested.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Thank you.
There was a gentleman at top of waterworks that kind of got a bad spot, I think we talked about this. Did that get solved, this is driveway getting
Yes.
finally?
Yes.
I assume.
They got a decision on that, based off the ADA accessibility as a whole up.
Okay,
And so they had an official interpretation of that issue, so he should be restored to working with us for testing.
I think, I assume.
I'm getting some questions on the covert run to 20 feet north on North Thomas Avenue sidewalk that needs to be completed. Will you officially make a statement?
I will officially make a statement on that. Ironically enough, it's like the very beginning piece, right, that's missing and has been missing. I actually reached out and spoke to the government rep from Duke to find out what the holdup was. And it really had to do with an additional utility to be named later. But it was not Duke and it was not Cincinnati Bell that had a utility on that pole, and they could not get moved off in order to relocate that pole. But that's been taken care of. Back to him. You were on that conversation. So they should be moving that pole anytime now. And there's one piece of sidewalk that will be placed immediately after that.
That'll make a lot of people happy.
Yes.
All right. Moving down to new business report from the Law, Labor, and License Committee.
Yeah, so we met prior to this meeting, and we were talking about the golf court ordinance and changing the age limit, and we are recommending that we do not at this time change the age limit down to 16.
All right, thank you. Report from Recreation Committee.
Yeah, thank you. So we met, Recreation Committee, which is myself, Councilman Blau, and Councilman Kelly, met with Councilperson Kelly, sorry. We met, had a meeting on September 15th to discuss a couple of very hot topics. Chris Manning and city staff prepared a very, very nice, well put together presentation on a very wide amount of items that we are covering. All the way from talking about what we implemented in the community plan, talking about playgrounds, pickleball, concept designs for the skate park, the bike park, spray ground, practice fields, Frisbee golf course in Highland Park, all kinds of different stuff. Route 8 corridor. There was approximately 70 or so residents that joined. There was a lot of interest in a lot of the projects, mostly around the pickleball, which the pickleball, what came out of that is just to update the folks at home. We are building 2 new pickleball, designated pickleball courts next to the tennis courts. And when will those start to take shape? Is that this fall?
That's this fall, we will start that.
Yes. So that should be right around the corner. We are looking at other options to add more pickleball, but at this time we're sticking with those 2 additional courts. And the other real hot topic was the bike/skate park. And what we have come out of the meeting, there was both sides, wanting it, not wanting it. And really what we've come out of the meeting is we're going to look at other options for locations. So in the community plan, there's a ton of interest in the bike pump track and the skate park, but the location was still TBD. And then in the concept drawings, there was a location picked, and there was some pushback from local residents on location, and so we decided to take it back to the literal drawing board and look for other options in case one might be a better solution from where it currently is. Not saying it's not going to be there, just saying that we're going to look for other options. We're going detail design, safety, all these different, different reasons of why we're looking, potentially moving from where it is. Any questions from the group or crowd?
Is that below the swim club?
No, which one are you speaking about?
Is that? Yes.
Skate park, bike park is proposed at this time to be across from the soccer field up from the dome.
Oh, okay, by the, okay. I know what you're looking
Below the swim club would be, currently is being proposed to have a splash pad, and then, is it 2 soccer?
It's one field.
Yeah,
It's a large.
yeah, yeah. 1 field and then 1 splash park. Good question though. Any other questions or comments?
All right.
Well, in that, something else that maybe I think that you agreed would be looked at is, just mitigating safety measures that could be taken for sergeant, you know. If it ended up back at that location, then what can we do to make it better?
Correct, and I think the reason that I left that off of this is because that, if we do decide to go to that location, that will be referred to, obviously, the Public Works Committee. That's not a parks thing, that's a Public Works piece.
Public safety.
Public safety, however, wherever we decide to put it. But yeah, because if we're moving roads around, I would think it would go to Public Works.
Or, I mean, if you're adding speed bumps or doing other mitigating
Yeah.
things to, you know.
I think it's important to note, if I could interject, I think it's important to note that with the concept plan, it really addressed the equipment or the concept of what the amenity would be, but it doesn't completely design the space, and the space around it. So a lot of the topic at the meeting centered around some of the safety concerns. That's certainly an aspect that we would do with any of our projects. You know, how do you get to it, whether it's pedestrian, parking, vehicular access, all of the above, conflicts with adjoining properties, all of those things would be part of the process of refining that plan.
I think what people that understand when by the end, they finally understood this is a concept, right?
Right.
It's just pen to paper, and those safety features are gonna be there, and they're just, we don't know exactly where they're gonna be because it takes professionals and consultants to throw those in, so. But overwhelming support was there,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I think not only did we come out of the meeting with wanting to look at other options, not saying it's gonna change, but wanting to look at other options. But another good thing that came out of the meeting is we are more aware of the area, the entrance to that neighborhood. So even if we don't put it there, we now have the door open to potentially spruce up that little area.
We know what they need.
We know what they need.
Yeah.
Because,
That's what I mean
it is
before.
because the residents in that area came and told us what they need, so.
Whole point of the meeting,
Yeah.
great.
I just have a comment and a quick question. I'm not on that committee, but I'm glad I came to it last week. I think that a few things, Chris's presentation was great.
Yep.
That's a fun committee. You guys are doing great work. And to your point, I really enjoy hearing all the feedback, you know, in every direction. And I think it's awesome when our community comes out and is willing to provide that feedback and be involved. That's just the way things should work. There's a lot of exciting things happening in that committee, and I'm excited to see it take shape once we decide how to push direction together. But a lot to be excited about in town. Absolutely, that's an understatement. And then, just quick question about the follow-up meeting this fall. Any idea? October, November, December?
It'll just depend on when we could reconvene with Chris and have some of that conversation. But we're hoping that, you know, if we're gonna move forward with any of those projects as spring projects, the larger ones, then we'll have to do that planning, you know, through the winter and be prepared to do any type of bidding process. So, you know, we'll move it along pretty quickly. So I don't think we have a date in mind necessarily, but certainly by our next meeting, we'll have something planned or scheduled to when the committee reconvenes.
Yeah, and I've been contacted by numerous people since that meeting, both on both sides of the issue of having it there, not having it there, having a skate park, not having a skate park, having a bike park. And just to, everyone that I talked to, I said the same thing. City government, we don't move fast, so we will do our due diligence. The I's will be crossed, the T's will be dotted, and I did say that backwards on purpose. And And, we have to give Chris some time to put something together, because he's a professional at that part, so we've got to give him time to put something together, so again, we wanted to move fast, but also, we don't want to hurry up and wait, so. So and Brian asked a question about the time of the meeting, we haven't even discussed when that's going to be, but it should be in the next couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much. We are down to Finance Committee report on disbursements.
Report of disbursements, August 12th through September 15th, 2021. General Fund, $192,877.30. Public Works KDOT Fund, $40,515.04. CBD Revitalization, $721,126.26. Waste fees, $95,647.76. Police and Fire Pension Fund, $1,519.07. Total, $1,051,685.43. We, the undersigned members of the Finance Committee, recommend that warrants number 9783 through 9963 be approved and the treasurer be authorized to issue checks for their payment. Mr. Henry, chairperson, Mr. Diesel, member, Ms. Helen, member.
Any motion? Second? Roll call vote, please.
Kelly? Aye. Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Bowman?
Aye.
Mr. Diesel?
Aye.
Mr. Blau?
Aye.
Ms. Grimes?
Aye.
All right, we're down to ordinances, resolutions, and orders. We have 3 ordinances. 2 ordinances. My apologies. Thank you very much. I don't have my glasses. No 13, tax rate.
Ordinance number 013-2021, an ordinance providing for the imposition, levy, collection, and apportionment of the taxes of the city of Fort Thomas, Campbell County, Kentucky, for the year 2021, and fixing the tax rate.
Motion that, second reading.
Move receive. Move approve. Approve. Move approve.
Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Kelly? Aye. Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Bowman?
Aye.
Mr. Diesel?
Aye.
Mr. Blau?
Aye.
Ms. Grimes?
Aye.
All right, ordinance number 15-2021. Campbell County.
Ordinance number 015-2021, an ordinance of the city of Fort Thomas, Campbell County, Kentucky, regulating the placement of tables, chairs, and outdoor furnishings for the purpose of outdoor dining on the public sidewalks and repealing ordinance 002-2007 in its entirety.
That is also a second reading, so I entertain a motion.
Move approve.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Kelly? Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Bowman?
Aye.
Mr. Diesel?
Aye.
Mr. Blau?
Aye.
Ms. Grimes?
Aye.
All right. I will also entertain another motion if someone would like to make it.
I move to make a motion that we enter into executive session in accordance with KRS section 61.18, subsection 1, subsection B, for the deliberation of the future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency.
I just got it. What section did you say?
Oh, 1B.
If you don't mind, just the entire section.
All right, in accordance with KRS section 61.8101B, right, for deliberation, future acquisitions or sale of real property by public agency.
Does that require a vote to go into executive session?
I'll second.
That's the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Kelly? Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Bowman?
Aye.
Mr. Diesel?
Aye. Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are going through an executive session. When we're finished, we'll come back. Public, we don't anticipate any action tonight, so thank you all very much.
Thank you for your comments.